Hey, recording.
Yay!
Welcome. I hit the button only twice and magic has happened. Welcome to a fabulous and jam-packed episode of Feral Ladies. We are so pleased to have you all here joining us because we have amazing guests and we are going to nerd out for at least an hour. Who knows? Time has no rules. So as you can see, full house here. We'll have our guests introduce themselves first and we will go Sharon, Toni, Brandy. And then your hostesses will introduce themselves. But honestly, I mean,
if you don't know by now,
I know.
Welcome.
You're welcome. We're so happy. All right. Toni, would you like to kick us off? No, Sharon. I just did orders. Math is made up.
Hi, I'm Sharon Rice Weber. I'm married to David Weber, who is somewhat competent writer of science fiction and fantasy. He's been around a while. I've been in fandom for way longer than I want to admit.
We don't do time math.
No time math. We're good.
No time math. Okay, good. Because, it's like starting to...
Time math years.
But
Been here.
I think my first convention ever was one of the MOCs, one of the Magnus Opus conventions in Atlanta back a bazillion years ago. And I got David invited to his first convention ever, which was the MOC in Greenville.
Nice.
And got him invited back the next year, even though they had met him.
What's the problem? Yeah.
It's kind of like LibertyCon. I can always come back, and if I have to bring David, then I also gave him his first autographing ever next to Roger McMaster. Roger Zelazny and Lois McMaster Bujold and Mr. White. We sold all of David's books because I think he had Toni, maybe 2 out, 1 out, 2 out.
Yeah.
Of course, we didn't sell out Lois's or Roger's, but and
somebody was hand selling them. So
yeah. And I probably bought his first book that he ever sold because I was working in a bookstore, and I bought it before it was supposed to go on the shelf, and I bought it with my employee discount, and
nice.
I probably bought the first one. Right. And I called him up, and I was really excited for him because the shipment had come in of his books, and I said, David, your books came in today. And he was like, oh, really? Yay, I'm so excited. I said, and I've already sold half of the shipment. And he's like, really? And I said, yes, would you like the other one?
Oh, wow.
Never sold a book before, and I only got 2.
I feel like this is a learning moment here for some of our newer authors. Right?
So there you go. So that was my start with David. We started going to cons together because he doesn't travel well by himself. Read, he gets lost. And so I started shepherding him around and, getting him to where he needed to go in cons and stuff. And
in his defense, David is such a lovely, charismatic person. I feel like he would get into a deep, meaningful conversation with anybody. So I've seen you in action at LibertyCon be like, David, these are lovely people. You have to be somewhere else right now.
I have to, pry him away. I mean, he loves to talk. He's a natural. Okay, I can't.
Conversationalist.
Okay, sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah, conversationalist.
Right. And he will talk ad nauseum or pontificate, as I say, ad nauseum, on just about any subject you could bring to bear. So,
what? Cons are a great place for that, honestly.
Yeah.
And that's to be fair, that he loves to talk to his fans, and he wants them to have good return for their money. If he's going to go to a con, he's not going to hide in his room and, and not go talk to as many fans as he can see. So
yeah.
Even when sometimes he should, like when he has migraines or concussions or broken bones or incredible pain.
That's my husband. So we've gone to cons all around the United States, Canada. We've been to England and Poland and the Czech Republic, and done cons all over everywhere. So it's been an interesting ride. So we have 3 kids, one of whom's married, one's engaged, and one's in the Marine Corps. So
married to the Marines at this point.
Well, it's a cult, so we have to get him out before we can do anything with him. But we're very proud of all 3 of our kids. They're great young adults, and we're very happy about that. So
I love it.
And that's in a nutshell. 5 cats, 3 dogs, and the rest, as they say, is history. So
party people. I love it. I love it. Cool. Thanks, Toni.
Oh wow. I too have known David Weber for a long time.
Not as long, no.
Well, I mean, I think actually longer because I remember when you two started dating. Yeah. Because David got a lot.
We never dated though. We never really dated. I mean,
sort of.
I love this. We're getting like the
tea. I'm just saying, David was a lot happier
after he met Sharon.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, he was. But
thank you for clarifying.
I knew David's brother Mike Weber, and because I got into Southern fandom as a teenager, and I knew a lot of folks from Southern fandom, and going to conventions when I was in college. I was in college up in the Midwest, and so I got to conventions up in the Midwest, and got to meet a lot of people in the business, and in fact that's how I got into the business. Hey, kitty, there's a good kitty.
All the guest stars today.
Yeah. I mean, I went to conventions and handed out my resume when I was a senior in college, and
brilliant.
I manipulated the Oberlin College club funding system. We rented a car to go to Balticon over spring break. There was 6 of us in a car. I remember we got a speeding ticket in freaking Pennsylvania while listening to the police.
Oh. That's rough. Dramatic resonance.
Like there is a God. He just has a low sense of humor.
Tons. Yeah.
So, in case anyone isn't familiar, who are you within the business, Toni?
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, sure.
My name's Toni Weisskopf. I started out as a Southern fan when I was a teenager, and when I graduated from college, I got an entry-level position at Baen Books. And now, 40 years later, I am the publisher of Baen Books.
You are Baen Books.
Well, I mean, we are all Baen Books, right? I mean, that's it's an interesting thing. Is what is Baen Books, right? Yes, of course, it's a company, but it's also a people, right? It's the authors, it's the artists, it's the readers, it's the people who run the conventions. Brandy, I'm looking at you. It's. Yeah, I mean, Baen is more than just a brand, but I am the proud publisher of all of these Feral Ladies, Marisa and Kacey and Melissa. I think Kacey first. Kacey came to us first. So.
Been riding her coattails for years.
Riding John Ringo's coattails, so that's fair.
Yeah. No, I mean,
David's coattails.
That's right.
There we go.
It's the circle of life.
I love you all too.
All right. To be fair, David did not recommend John to us. John recommended himself to us on Baen's bar. He got into a fight with Jim Baen on the bar, which was an early form of social media. And Jim was you know, surely you have such strong opinions. You must be a writer, or words to that effect, right? And John said, as it happens, you've rejected my first novel. And John said, well, send it back to me.
Nice.
And
was that a Hymn Before Battle?
It was a Hymn Before Battle,
yeah.
Although it was not Hymn Before Battle as published, right?
Right, sure.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
There was there was some back and forth between Jim and John on Hymn Before Battle, and then John came to me on the second book, and there was some more back and forth. And so they made this part of the Baen tradition, right? Of being edited by more than one editor. And that's one of the ways that we do things differently, is that we do take input from lots of folks, from our readers, our production folks, our mailroom guy is, I mean, don't tell anybody, but we listen to his editorial acumen as well. So.
Don't trust the internet. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah, it's just between you, us, and the internet.
Yeah,
The war monkey doesn't get to know.
No. But yeah, and I mean that that's a whole nother philosophy of editorial.
Yeah.
But
your production manager is one of my beta readers.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Baen is also several shelves of my bookshelves. So
I mean, both stuff that you've appeared in that we've published, but I'm assuming also things that you read too.
Oh, I mean, at least three shelves straight up of just books I read, most of which I had before I was ever published by Baen.
Yeah.
Well, half, because once you're published by Baen, you get to raid the shelves, and so
raid the shelves. It's a rite of passage.
I've been raiding those shelves my whole life.
Really, right?
Well, but you
are
very special, though, Brandy.
So that's true.
Well, I mean, one of the people that we listened to about writers was her daddy, right? Timmy, Uncle Timmy Bolgeo, and Timmy, rolling this back to David and Sharon, was an early partisan of David Weber. When we first published David, we were doing mostly paperback originals. We had stepped away from hardcovers and trade paperbacks, and that was what we were doing. And Timmy argued so hard to put David in hardcover. We were like, fine, just to get you to shut up, we will do this. And
but it worked.
Oh yeah, no, it totally worked.
It worked. So once we got Michael Jackson off the cover and Dave Mattingly doing the covers,
Right. All right. Well, all right. So this is another thing. You young authors, right? It took the Honor Harrington till book 6 that we found the correct cover artist for the series. We tried a bunch of different people.
Bunch of bad people.
Well, all right. So they weren't bad people. They just weren't right for that series.
They weren't right for the series. Yeah.
They weren't right.
Okay, but they were bad covers. You have to admit.
I can't admit that because they sold.
Right.
Michael Jackson.
But
Michael Jackson.
I'm not reprinted that one.
I love it.
But I'm saying they weren't book killer covers, right?
Yeah.
So they did the job.
Yeah.
Of course, part of that was Carol Russo's cover design, right?
Yeah.
Carol Russo has designed the covers for those books since the very beginning, and there's been that continuity of look that Jim that Jim had really dialed in with Carol from book 1. So that absolutely helped. But I was actually the one who found Mattingly. He had done a sketch for Elizabeth Moon series that we had rejected that sketch for that particular book. But I said to Jim, this would be a great Honor Harrington cover. And Jim was like, all right, we'll do him for the next one. And that's
history.
That's how that came about. But but Timmy was a very early David Weber partisan, and he was a very early John Ringo partisan too. I mean, he had really good taste in authors. One of the things I liked as a fan going to his conventions, even before I became in the business, was that he also had really good taste in artist guests of honor. Right? He would bring these amazing artists, who had done like Daryl Sweet and I'm blanking on, or like Larry Elmore, bunch of people who you grew up seeing these covers, and then they would be there at the convention. Right?
Oh,
yeah, it was amazing. So I do miss Timmy. I do. I mean, Brandy is awesome.
We love him. But I miss him too.
So in a very real way, for Marisa and Melissa and I, we never had the opportunity to meet Uncle Timmy, but Brandy is like, she's our Uncle Timmy, you know what I mean? Because she fulfills that role so much for us in terms of like, she runs LibertyCon, and she's a tastemaker in so many ways, you know what I mean? So she's on the list of people it is good to know and be liked by. Her name is like right at the top.
It helps that she's a delight.
Yeah, for sure.
She knows people with guns and backhoes, so she's good to know.
That's right. That she's on the list for so many reasons.
Brandy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Gosh, I think she's already done it for me. But so I'm Brandy Bolgeo Hendren. I am the chairman of LibertyCon. It's a science fiction convention in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I think we're all starting with how long we've known David Weber. Well, my first convention, I was 3 years old, so I've known Uncle David my whole life.
Yeah.
So that's the. And so, as well
and
as
Aunt Sharon. Now wait a minute.
Aunt Sharon,
right?
Aunt Sharon's my favorite. Aunt Sharon's my favorite. So I grew up in fandom. Like I said, it started Chattacon 2, 3 years old. We had just moved to Chattanooga. Dad had gotten out of college, out of the Air Force, and moved to Chattanooga to get us out of Memphis. And so immediately joined fandom. Never looked back. So he ran Chattacon for several years, then left with some other people, start a new convention, and that was LibertyCon. So he was the chairman for the first 25 years. I grew up doing different staff positions, doing different board positions. I was literally bred to run a convention. It's the only use I had. So I have run it since then. And so we are at LibertyCon 38 will be in 2026. So it's a fun time. You get to be a part of a nonprofit that raises money for other charities, that has the best community ever of people, writers, artists, scientists, engineers. I'm an engineer. It's just there's no better thing. That's we all have day jobs because it's a volunteer deal, but it is the job of it's my love is LibertyCon besides my family.
We should mention that Brandy's day job is as a high-powered executive for TVA.
High-powered executive, but
I'm an engineer.
I would call it part of that.
Engineer. Glossed out right over it.
Feels like no big deal.
I've done a few things. I've been there. Let's see.
Now wait, Brandy.
Over 32 years.
Nice.
Brandy, what did your daddy do?
He was an engineer at TVA.
He raised her to take over both of his jobs.
Yeah.
No.
And the family. So three things.
Timmy was never a high-powered executive.
Oh, high-powered executive.
He got her foot in the door. I mean, come on,
Also, I would just like to acknowledge that I see what you did there, Toni, with high-powered working for TVA.
It's like David is in the room with us.
The spirit of David.
That's right. Yeah. The fun is strong with this group.
Timmy had a very nice career at TVA. I'm just saying that he would have been proud. He would have been proud that Brandy has risen a little bit higher in the hierarchy.
He was always very proud. It was funny. I could, he was twice my size. And for a little bit of time, because he worked in nuclear, so we both worked in different corporate spaces, but in the same sort of set of buildings for just a little bit of time. And so I had just had Alex, and I would drop him off at mom's. I live 5 minutes away from my parents, or mom now. But I would drop Alex off. Beth was not born yet, and I would get in the car with Dad, and there was a pillow, and I would sleep all the way downtown, which is like a 25-minute drive. We would get out, we would go into work, and we worked in separate buildings. But if I would go in his building and he was talking, I could tell you exactly 6 floors of buildings. Could tell you exactly where he was with that booming voice.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, we would get in the car and we would talk about our days. There you go.
Oh, I love it.
That sounds lovely.
I love it.
That sounds lovely.
Okay.
There are 2 people in fandom. Fandom as a larger thing that I really wish that I'd had the opportunity to meet, and one is Jim Bain, and the other is because everybody that I know and love loves them, So yeah.
Well, Jim would have flirted outrageously with all of you.
Oh yeah, and did.
That's fine.
Perfect.
We're pretty good at holding our own, I feel.
Yeah.
He definitely would have said things about women in uniform, blah 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 blah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Toni, I write books with Tom Kratman.
Yeah.
Fair.
No, I don't think any of you would have been offended by what he said.
No.
Fair. No problems have been surfaced in this conversation. I love it.
But he also would have respected all of your experience, and I think he would have liked all your work. I mean, Jim's literary taste and mine were really, very very close. He liked puns more than I do, but
fair. Yeah, it's a whole different style of humor there.
Yeah,
I like puns too. He just liked them more.
I love them, but I can never come up with them. So
no.
Yeah.
Mine are like every 10 years I get a good one in.
What?
I think you're still doing better than I am. I don't know.
It's great. It's usually unintended, but then afterwards I'm like, I'll own it. I'm not a coward. On my pun. Amazing.
My late husband Hank, he would come up with them and then he would wait decades.
Yeah,
for
to
the
use
exact right place for the bon mot to go. But, I mean, he had that patience, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Amazing. Melissa, Kacey, do you want to introduce yourselves briefly?
Sure, Melissa, go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Melissa Olthoff. I write sci-fi and fantasy, and I always put in romance now because I write what I love to read. And one day, I too hope to escape Memphis for Chattanooga.
The plan.
Yeah.
Kacey.
Hi. We'll all just congregate there.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, we would love this.
Yeah. I'm Kacey Ezel. I write emotionally charged adventure fantasy and science fiction, and I have other truths that I will reveal about myself that you already know, but
by the end,
later in the show.
Amazing. And I am Marisa Wolf. I write science fiction and fantasy also because nerd. It will always end in hope. I promise you that. I make no promises about the path to get there. Zero promises. And like Brandy, I am a second generation nerd. Unlike Brandy, I did not go to a convention until I was a grown ass adult. So my dad, if he knew cons existed, too much of an introvert, but raised me very well to be a nerd. And then the very first con I ever went to was Dragon Con in 2003.
Yeah, all 3 of us, our first convention was Dragon Con. Right in the deep end. Right in. Oh, it was amazing.
It was the best thing I ever saw in my life.
It was 23.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big place to start.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It was big then.
So fun.
Okay. Right, I think 2003, right? It was 2 hotels.
I'll tell you how old I am. Dragon Con wasn't even in one hotel, okay? And it was tiny.
Yeah.
I remember when Dragon Con started.
Yeah.
I think I was 7.
There was a world without Dragon Con.
Oh, I don't want to think about such things, Toni.
But there were still cons, right?
There were still cons, and they were great.
Yeah.
They were great. Yeah. My first Dragon Con was 2001. I went on a whim with my friend Tammy Archuleta, and we walked into the place. We were two super cute little lieutenants, like midway through pilot training. We walked in and we were just like, what the fuck? Where has this been all my life? Like,
are we over the time limit now? Or?
Yeah, I just checked. It's 24 minutes.
The cursing wall is open.
So, when you can spend a weekend like having stormtroopers be like, oh no, put handcuffs on me, Mr. Imperial Stormtrooper, like as a 22-year-old young woman, it was pretty good. We had a lot of fun.
Yep.
So.
Man.
What Melissa, what was your first Dragon Con then? What year?
So mine was literally the same thing. Halfway through pilot training, baby lieutenant, and it was in 06. That was
Did you get lost? No, I'm sorry.
She was with me.
Yeah, I had Kacey at that point.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh,
and boy Kacey.
Cool. We had boy Kacey Morris, who is fantabulous.
So one of you was not a baby lieutenant, and
at least somebody could navigate. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
I still get lost. It's fine.
Well, Jim Bain would get lost too. He could step out the door and not know how to get back inside. So it's got to be a big brain kind of thing. So
Our brains are busy doing other things. They can't also navigate. That's too much.
That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah. Hank always said he would have been a fantastic warrior in the Middle Ages so long as somebody got him to the battlefield.
I'm not going to tell you how many guests of honor we've had that they couldn't find their way anything. Needed a handle. That's not a unique thing with authors.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Dave, people who are dead, we could talk about. So David Drake was another, right? Again, he would step out of his doorway and be completely lost. So there are tales of Jim and Dave Drake getting lost together and having adventures, right?
Oh man.
You know what? If not at a convention in which you were surrounded by the friendliest of people, then where?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you guys think? I'm just curious because I ask people this question all the time. What is it that makes fandom so why is it so special? You know what I mean? When we talk about fandom as a whole, what is it that brings everybody together and makes everybody like enthusiastic about it?
Well, all right. I mean, for me, I had that same feeling when I walked into my first convention, much smaller than Dragon Con. I think there were maybe 120 people there, maybe. But I had that, I have found my people.
Yeah,
moment,
exactly.
Right? They were singing Tom Lehrer.
Amazing, right?
There you go.
They were passing around bourbon. I'm like, I'm home. This is it.
This is where I belong.
This is where I belong.
I think a lot of us but we grew up being the outlier in a lot of situations. In high school we were the nerds and that wasn't cool back then.
Yeah.
And you had to kind of police yourself, sometimes, to fit in. And you were at a con and you meet your tribe, and you don't have to do that anymore. So
the thing is, I went to a super nerdy high school, right? I went to high school in Huntsville, and it was all engineers and scientists and the children thereof, and so I had a great high school. I participated in high school. I didn't feel outcast in high school at all. So it wasn't that I didn't feel that with other people. It's just that I felt it more in fandom, and I think part of it is that, at least at that time, and this was the late 70s, early 80s, you could go into fandom, and whoever you were, whatever you dressed like, whatever you wore, however old you were, whatever, if you liked science fiction and were enthusiastic about it, they welcomed you, right? Mm-hmm. They welcomed you.
Yeah, very inclusive.
It was super duper inclusive, and I really, really appreciated that.
Yeah,
I mean, I never had any other experience. Since my entire memory is going to conventions. And like Toni, I had a great high school experience, but I think, back then Fandom was so much smaller. It wasn't cool to be a nerd. It wasn't cool to be a geek. So, we'd go to a lot of Southeast conventions. That was sort of almost our vacations. We didn't do Disney World. We did Constellation.
I love it.
and all that. And so, yeah. So I have memories of a snowstorm in Nashville where, somebody found me some cardboard, and there was a hill between where you stayed and the main hotel, and we just sledded all day. I mean, just so many memories. But growing up in Fandom, it was cool to be smart. There were not many girls, even though, I was a child and then a teenager growing up.
Yeah.
And people were so encouraging of being smart and being, meticulous and being a fan, that it really gave you that self-confidence.
And the women who were there, people like Maureen Doris and people like Charlotte Proctor, were really cool. Right? They were Charlotte organized Birmingham convention, Maureen organized Nashville convention, in Fandom there, and they were neat role models, right? That they showed you what a cool, competent woman could do.
Sure.
And being raised around strong women, I think Fandom definitely draws in strong women. Aunt Sharon, Toni. I mean, these are the women that I grew up with, that were my role models of what it's okay to be and what you should be, versus not making yourself smaller to make someone feel bigger.
Yeah. That's really interesting that you say that, because I didn't grow up in Fandom in any sense of the word, but I, like Marisa, I'm a second generation fan. Brandy and Toni know my mom. My mom's a huge science fiction fantasy fan, and that's the reason that
she should be here.
Yeah, maybe we'll have my mom on. That'd be fun. She'll tell you all kinds of stories in the attempt to embarrass me. But, Mom, you don't want to play that game with me.
Yeah, I was like, keyword, okay. not on this channel. That's a different party.
But anyway, but yeah, she does that for me too. Right, when I, as a young officer, just starting my career in the military, if I ever had a question about, okay, well, how do I balance, doing these things, being in this very hyper masculine environment, and yet still being a feminine woman, that was never really a problem for me, because I always had my mom to look up to and see how she had pulled it off with such, grace and competence and excellence for, the entirety of her career. So yeah, I'm not saying that that's necessarily because she was a science fiction and fantasy fan, but I think there is something about Fandom that draws, women of a certain, I don't know, strong will, maybe.
And I think, to its credit, that's because it's part of the literature too, right?
Yeah.
And always has been, right?
Yeah.
Strong, intelligent women have been represented in the fiction, and celebrated in the fiction for a long time. Honor Harrington was one of a long line.
She wasn't the first, but
she wasn't the first. She may be the best.
of course,
one of my first,
but she wasn't first. So
no.
I do have a con story about kids at a con.
Oh, do tell.
We love.
Okay, our three were little, and we had not taken them to a whole lot of conventions, and certainly not Dragon Con, because Dragon Con. If you know, you know. So
naked.
They had been to Con Carolinas a couple of times. They'd been to Liberty Con, and the year that they turned, maybe, I don't know, 9, 10-ish, they were old enough to go around the con alone.
Ooh, that's a big milestone.
That's a big step.
Yeah.
And so we said, okay, but you three have to stay together, and you can go anywhere in the dealer's room. You can go in the dealer's room and hang out. And they did. And they were so proud that they were going around by themselves. And they didn't realize that every vendor in the hall, and every security person in the hall, and Uncle Timmy was like 4 feet behind them, around, and they made purchases and everything, and came back, and they were like, "We did it, Mom. We didn't get we didn't get attacked or anything." And I was like, "Yes, I'm so proud. Y'all did it all by yourselves."
Yeah.
And every person in that hall knew exactly who those kids were, and right there, that was a sweet homage to Uncle Timmy. He was just he was going to take care of those kids no matter what. So
yeah.
They've grown up to be good kids because of people that they knew, like Uncle Timmy and Brandy, your mom, and Toni, and so.
And that's my cat's S. So
it's a smoky tail.
We love Smokey. One of I think my second LibertyCon maybe. So I went to LibertyCon because Kacey was like, "Hey, guess what? What's your address? Oh, look, I got you this ticket." So I went to LibertyCon.
True story. I did do that.
Thank you. By the way, guess where you're going?
Phenomenal. No. It was amazing.
Guess what? You're going to come on vacation with me. Yay!
It was wonderful. I seriously no notes. But I think by the second one that I went to, because as soon as I went, I was like, yes, I need to do this all the time. There was Kacey and 3 or 4 other people who had like teenage kids. And so they had this brilliant idea to make a badge that was basically like safe person. And then, so I had that. And so I'd get to like walk around, and then like a teenager would pop up like, "Hey, have you seen my mom?" I'm like, "Which one are you?" I don't. So Corey and I are going to go, like one of us are going to go, and we're going to go get some hot chocolate. And now there's a gaggle of teenagers. And it's such a fun family, like, many cons are very family friendly, and I love that. Like I love that sense of like this is your broader nerd family.
And the ones that aren't
100% there are. LibertyCon though was my specific choice to bring my daughter Coriel, who's, I'll say her name because she's now an adult. That was her first con, and that was a specific choice on my part because I had been and I had seen exactly what Sharon was talking about in action, and I was like, great, she can come. I think she was like 13 the first time she went. She could come. She could hang out with my friends' teenage daughters. They had their own like teenage kid room. It was phenomenal, and it was exactly the kind.
I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was exactly the kind of safe environment that was still fun and exciting, that I could give her some more independence that, maybe I couldn't give her elsewhere.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Well, I mean, there are fewer and fewer places where that is the case.
Yeah.
Right. And I was so influenced by that when I was young. I wanted my kids to have it. And now my grandkids, I only have one, but, so really that's a huge part of LibertyCon, being family friendly, because you see 3 and 4 generations at times in there, and so, and I mean, there are cons that aren't family friendly, and those are fun too.
Yes, they are.
But I mean, hey, love them, been to a few, but in my younger days. But that's why I want LibertyCon to be that safe place, and that place where you just have the love of science fiction and fantasy, and so you have that place to go, and you have that community, and it's so important to have these spaces today.
Yeah, yeah,
for sure. You can never retire, right?
I have heard that.
Brandy, you can't retire, so.
And not until she gets to 50, right? But
well,
LibertyCon 50.
LibertyCon 50, I will be 65. So I am really hoping to have a successor for 51, but it will not be.
Right. One of the things that LibertyCon does very well, and that other similar cons to Liberty have not done so well, is train up new generations, right? And it's baked into the organization.
That continuity.
But just to make sure that new people are trained in how to do things the LibertyCon way, right? And that passing on of Fanish values and Fanish mores it's been very spotty in other places, right? It's become much more insular and much less welcoming. And that's frustrating to me, because I've seen younger generations bounce off of traditional fandom because of that. That it's just become so much about itself that they've forgotten how they got into it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And LibertyCon doesn't do that.
Yeah. Where it's harder to find your people.
Yeah, exactly.
So, if you were going to tell a person who is like, I love science fiction, I want to get involved in fandom, how do you go to a convention and be a good member of fandom, right? Like, how do you do conventions right?
How con?
How to con? Yes.
I would say the first thing you do is you get the 2 LibertyCon books that Chris Woods and I edited.
They're so good.
They are so good. Sure. They are so fun. Yeah,
they are good.
One of the ways that I learned how to be a fan before I ever went to a convention was I read about conventions. Isaac Asimov would mention them when he introduced stories, which he did a lot of for anthologies. The folks who organized World Fantasy Con, they put out anthologies and they would talk about their con. I read Fred Pohl's memoirs about being a young fan in the Depression and in New York. So I had an idea of what fandom was before I even got into it. But I think the easiest way to do it is if you're like, oh, hey, there's a science fiction convention in my hometown, I guess I'll go. Is you volunteer, right? You volunteer.
You look around and see what looks interesting, and you just say, hey, what do you need?
I can help.
Yeah, and first of all, these small literary science fiction conventions are volunteer run, so people appreciate you doing this. So already you've got points, right?
You're a good way to meet people,
right? You're filling a need,
and it doesn't have to be 1,000. I mean, mine is a second job, right? Like it's a lifestyle. My poor husband is not a fan, and so this was a big shock to him as we began dating. But now he just rolls with it. He's great.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can sit at the art show for 2 hours and door, security at the door.
Yeah.
You can help out in the con suite for a few hours. I mean, those few hours of people just coming up and helping when we need help, tearing down on a Sunday helping, those are invaluable. Like just as invaluable as one person working 100 or 200 hours, or if you're my head of programming like 8 million hours a year. But it really is. It is so helpful, and you get to know people. My head of registration, he came to LibertyCon. I mean, a ton of years ago now. Matt did not know anybody, and I was the head of registration, and he just sort of started hanging out at registration. So I put him to work. And then the next year he came back and he was like, hey, you need help? I was like, sure. Now you're on registration staff. And we just went from there.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, you're now staff. That's what I do. And now he lives in Chattanooga and he's my head of registration for his entire life cycle. So there you go.
Till the end of time. Yeah, and I will say, helping with registration is amazing. So the very first time I went to Superstars, which isn't a fan con, it's a writing summit, a writing conference. I was like, I don't know what to do. I know like 2 people here, which is not my usual when I go to cons anymore. And so I was like, yeah, I'll just help the sign-in desk. But then you get to meet everybody as they come in, and that is so much fun because these are your people, right? So that's a really fun way to.
My mom was the head of registration, and she's never read a science fiction book in her life. Could care less, but she knows almost everybody. Because she was head of registration, I think, for Chatacon for many years, and then the first head of registration for LibertyCon, and she still helps Matt. And so you're handing a badge to somebody, and you see their name, and so year after year, so she knows everybody now.
But you were talking about, if you're just going to attend a con and get your feet wet, so to speak, go to the panels.
Oh yeah.
Don't sit in the the bar or something. I mean, that's great. Trust me. But
Yeah, I mean, do that too.
do that too. But do that when there's no panels going on. But go to the panels and get involved in what the con is actually all about.
Yeah.
Find whatever your groove is. If you're into Star Wars, there's going to be a panel on that. If you're into Star Trek, there's going to be a panel on that. If you're into something furries, there's probably going to be a panel on that somewhere. Go and get involved in the genre that you enjoy the most, and you'll meet even more people who have you back. And then you'll start going, oh, what about anime, or what about movies, or what about military science fiction, and you'll get into a lot of areas that you might not have looked at on your own. But Sally likes it, and Sally and I both like this, so maybe I like that too. So
yeah.
And for God's sakes, bathe.
No.
Bathe. Just bathe. Just
Yes, smell nice. Smelling nice is a great.
I mean, we've all been there with the con goer who didn't do it the entire con, and you're like, please.
Yeah. What is it? The 6-2-1 rule?
Yeah. Eat 2 meals.
6 hours.
6 hours.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
One shower.
One shower per day.
I don't mean to sleeping at LibertyCon.
Yeah, some people don't sleep, and that's fine. But shower.
If you're under 21, it's 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
You're fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
But David and I were chased around a con by a guy who wore a wool uniform in July. It wasn't a LibertyCon, by the way. But the guy did not take this uniform off the entire time. And by Saturday, he was getting a little right. By Sunday, he was like past, and you're like, you could see him coming, and you're like, oh gosh. Yeah.
Wool is hard. Yeah.
It's like,
that's a lot. Yeah. Wool in July. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm middle-aged. I can't wear wool anymore.
Yeah. Socks. I have wool socks, and I love them. The end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Yes.
Yeah. That's all. That's all.
But not in July and
No.
you're deep south and you're,
Yeah. I'll even say
wool cosplays at Dragon Con, generally not a great idea.
Yeah.
Exactly. Think it through, people. Think it through.
Comfortable. Try. Dragon Con already is often a 2-shower con. 2 shower a day.
2 shower a day con, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because Atlanta, Labor Day weekend.
Right.
And
it's
extravaganza. There's nothing like it. I cannot imagine doing it. I love, the size. I mean, LibertyCon, if you haven't been, it's 1,000 people paid. We cut off there. Everybody pays. Like, I pay full price, because it is a charity. But I could not imagine running anything like that. I adore it. It's amazing. They do such a phenomenal job. But LibertyCon's as big as I want to do.
It's amazing, right? Like, to have. So we've talked about cons on this channel a ton, and this is why we're so excited to have you guys come on, because you have this wealth of maybe fun stories to share also as well about these cons. But the variety of cons, like your small local con could be 200 people. And you could still have an amazing time. Dragon Con is 80,000 people. You can have as big or small a con as you want there. This is going to be a lot of people regardless of what you do, just so you know, if you leave your hotel room. But maybe you just ride in the elevator. You're still going to talk to a lot of people.
It doesn't matter how big or small a convention is. I'm going to a new for me convention in a few weeks, FinCon in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
The fan guest of honor, and I don't know why, but I cannot wait. I think it's like
we know why.
We know why.
Right.
We know why. Yeah.
I'm excited. That's about 400 or 500 people. I cannot wait. I need a convention. That is going to be a fun time.
They usually have a good filk track too, by the way.
Ooh. Oh, nice.
They also do a really good, very serious StirCon, it used to be called, serious and constructive writers workshop, and Mona Lisa Foster is running it this year. But
she's so good.
She is. Yeah. But yeah, they're very strong on the filking.
Nice.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I plan to hang out there for a while.
So you're also going to FenCon?
That is my plan.
Yeah.
Plan.
If the universe cooperates.
Right, of course.
I used to live in Dallas. That was the first con I ever sold books to strangers at. It was delightful.
Oh yeah,
That's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty great. A friend, so Dave Cleric, is an amazing fan who has unfortunately since passed away. But he was like, "You need to go to FenCon." I was like, "No, I've got LibertyCon, I've got DragonCon, I'm good. I don't need other cons." And he was like, "Yeah, well, I bought you a table, so I guess you're going." And I was like,
Yeah, that was
"Okay,
good.
yeah, I guess
was
I'll go." And then, I engaged in capitalism. Every time I sold a book, I went and bought something else in the dealer hall, which I strongly recommend dealer halls at cons, friends. Like the amount of art and things and F-bombs that I have bought are high, and I have no regrets. But FenCon, they were so friendly because it was a place I knew 2 people, and everyone was very kind. So
yeah. FenCon is on my list of cons I'd like to get to one day. Yeah.
All the cons, just need all
What
the money.
convention are y'all going to next, Aunt Sharon?
We are doing Penguin Con in where is it?
Michigan, isn't it?
Michigan.
Yes,
Really?
in March.
Sure. Oh well, yeah, Penguin. Yeah.
Hopefully we're and
that'll be fun.
Talking about Dave Cleric, we did PCon, which is an offshoot of FinCon, and it was a great con. We had a very, very good time at that one too. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that one's on my list too. PCon.
Me too.
PCon was fun. It was smaller, a little bit smaller, I think, but we enjoyed it immensely. So
yeah, I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah,
and the chairman has the greatest name, Crystal Gale.
Oh my gosh,
Is that also the greatest name ever?
That is great.
she's a sweetheart too.
Yeah.
She's a sweetheart. And let's see, Ruth went to was it LibertyCon, which is how we got kind of after Dave passed, we kind of dropped off the list with them. So, but got back in touch with them, and it was a great con.
Yeah,
there's so many great people. Yeah,
I think Melissa's hometown convention is Mid-South Con, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll be the time. March.
Yes, I think it's March this year. John Hartness is the guest of honor.
It's always fun. Yeah,
he's a good guy.
He was trained in theater, so he's got the big presence and the big voice.
Oh, the best voice.
Also very good hugs.
Yeah,
he does. Yeah,
Fair.
John's fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I remember I was a guest at a Mid-South Con, same time Timmy was, I think, fan guest. Or maybe I was fan guest and he was MC, something like that. I don't know. But I broke my glasses doing one of these big motions that I make, right? And I flung my glasses.
Oh no.
And they had given me a really nice room as guest of honor, and it had marble floors. So my glasses go flying.
Oh no!
No.
That was exciting.
I was sitting here thinking, I like some, I have like a million stories of fandom when I was little and all that, and then I think 90% of them are really not safe for the internet.
No.
I mean, fair.
But I mean,
you could edit
Brandy,
it.
have you met the internet?
Protect the guilty. It's fine.
Yeah. My first paid job at like 5 or 6 years of age was stirring swill in a room party. I just a big trash can with God knows what alcohol, and I'm just stirring with
statute of limitations.
The witch's brew.
I got a quarter an hour, and of course, as an adult, I realized Dad just needed somewhere to stash me. So my first paid job, ladies.
The fact that he could stick you with Ken Moore in a Kubla Khan party, stirring swill, and still know that you were perfectly safe.
Perfectly fine. Yeah.
Perfectly safe.
Now, I do have a recipe for swill, by the way. I put together the Southern Fandom Confederation Handbook, and I think the last update that was ever done was in 97, and I have a handwritten recipe from Ken Moore about how to make swill.
Swill.
So I know exactly what's in swill, and it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It was the garbage cans that were dodgy.
There
You
was
had to
something.
make the garbage can. And I thought this was normal my whole childhood.
I love it. Well, it is. It is at cons, right?
Yeah.
Well, if someone over imbibed, you knew, like somebody knew where they were staying in which room, and so you just rolled them on a luggage cart and just rolled them back to the room. And again, this was a part of my childhood. I just thought this was completely normal.
Full service.
Totally.
Full service.
Yep.
I was a full service kid.
There was a Chattacon. This was pre-Bane. I was a teenager, and they had room keys, and they had your room number was on the middle key. I could not read the key. I had my glasses then, but I could not read the key. But I showed it to Robert Zelke, and he very kindly took me to got me home safely. And I am still friends with Robert Zelke, and I play hearts with him every week.
That's awesome. Lifelong friends. Just so I don't forget, I am going to request the swill recipe because I do have my very first Mistress of Ceremonies job coming up next year. And I feel like traditions should be carried into.
Oh, swill is perfect for that. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, and you can make a mock swill, right?
Yeah.
That will be very tasty.
Like when Kacey did the rum balls, we also had
Yeah.
The trash cans are still okay, Toni, because the alcohol kills all the
That's what
germs.
Ken said.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Disinfected.
We'll have to make sure that the mock swill is
not in. Yeah.
We'll buy a new
It's
trash
a
can for
bucket,
that.
not a trash can. It's okay. It's okay.
We used igloo coolers in college. We would make.
Yeah.
I mean, kept it cold. I saw no issues with it.
Yeah, because they have the little spout, right?
Oh,
And
yeah. Easy peasy.
Got it covered for you.
Yeah. Do you have an outrageous con story where you can change names if you need to that you would like to share to encourage either for people to be like, I was at a party like that once, or to encourage people to go forth to the con life and try?
Sharon.
Me? I don't. I was propositioned at a Dragon Con by a guy who was in a love slave costume once.
Oh.
Sharon.
In the dealer's room, no less. So, yeah, that was before David. Don't tell
sure,
me.
Well, you didn't say you accepted, so
I know. Right?
I mean, there's a little herd that I used to go to cons with that we all went to college together and played D&D, and that was back in the first edition of D&D. So
nice.
back in the dark days, and now, okay, I'm gonna name drop a little bit. When we do an online gaming session about once a quarter with a group, and Luke Gygax, who is Jerry Gygax's son, is in that group. So we're playing with the guy who originated D&D. So
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
that was pretty cool. But I don't have too many.
Too many will share. Okay.
I have one.
But the group that I went to college with, we have some stories, but I can't
tell them.
I can't share them, because the statute of limitations is still. It used to be funny though. I'd be the designated driver or the designated non-drinker, and I would watch these people get smashed, in a hotel. So it was all safe. I'd get them back to their rooms and stuff, and I would just take notes. Like, you're not going to remember this.
Blackmail material.
This is before your phone had a camera on it.
Right.
Yeah, and the next day at breakfast or lunch, do you remember making out with so and so? No, did I do that? And I was like, oh yeah, that kind of stuff. So I was that person. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
I just thought it was like, why did you stop me? It was like, I tried,
You were having a good time, man. I don't.
You know, I was really into it, so I just kind of left it alone.
Right.
So
You're an adult.
back away from the party, you know. So,
Don't want to be in the splash zone. So
yeah, so it was great. It was great. So, but yeah, that can't. That's about it. I can't. I'm sure Toni has some.
Yeah, I heard Toni say she has one. Yeah.
Toni
I
has
said I
some.
have.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Come on, Toni.
Casey has
Like absolutely not.
Let's listen to Casey's story.
Oh, okay.
Were you with us the year that Harry Belafonte was in the Hyatt at DragonCon and came up to us and like wanted to sing Deo with us? Were you there that year?
I don't know if I
We
was.
were. It was
Melissa,
there,
not me. Yeah.
there was like it was our group of friends, that we
was
have.
it somebody
And-
cosplaying?
I mean, I don't think so because he had a handler, right? And we were. It was like this group of like 6 of us girls, and we were all wearing our corsets, so we're at boobs up to here, you know, and we were super hot, super cute, so young, you know, wearing barely their shorts probably, and this guy comes up to us, he's like, hey, do you guys know who Harry Belafonte is? And our other friend is like, the Deo guy? And he's like, yeah. It's like, he's staying here in the hotel and he wants to meet you. And we're like, we're not going to anyone's room. He's like, no, he's right over there. Can he just come over? And we're like, yeah. I mean, we're in the middle of like the, one of the open floors. Yeah. And so like it's public space. We're like, yeah, he can go wherever he wants, you know. And so he comes over. He was old, but it looked like him, you know, and he was like, hey, do you ladies know the song Deo? And we're like, yeah. We know the song Deo. It's like, well, do you want to sing with me? And we're like, yeah, sure. So there we are in a circle singing Deo at DragonCon with Harry Belafonte. You were there for that, weren't you? I feel like you were there for that.
I need video of this now.
I know, right?
We had it. We didn't have it, but we do have some very cute pictures of us, baby us.
Oh my God, Mike Massa has so many pictures of us from those years. I'm like, how do you still have these? Like, oh my God.
Yeah, he's hanging on to that.
Casey Moore's gorgeous, amazing, talented wife also has a lot of pictures from those days.
Yeah.
And I remember my first year at DragonCon, I met John Ringo.
Nice.
Woo!
I used to go all the time, so
Yeah.
Was he
The
sober?
circumstances of that meeting were very interesting. It was like, oh, hey, love your books. There were some parties going on.
Yeah.
Was this like a
party?
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
was asking,
right.
was he sober or yeah?
I don't think so.
I will not name this author because I don't want to embarrass anybody, but it will not be surprising, I think, to anybody. Pre-writing days, I was still just fully fanfic and occasionally going to DragonCon. I went to the Corsets and Kilts party and I talked to a Grand Master of Science Fiction who had an entire conversation with my chest. Because I was what, like 26, right? I was adorable. I was wearing a corset. I was wearing a corset. And at some point he realized it, like snapped his eyes up to mine real wide. And he was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, I mean, they're out. It's fine. He was like, okay.
Fair.
The conversation.
At least he was appreciative.
It was so kind. Yeah, I was like, I mean, they're out. Like, what are we supposed to pretend they're not out? They're out. You can look at them. Like,
yeah. They're obviously packaged for display.
they are to be admired. I am at a party expressly for this purpose. Very different style.
Yeah.
Girl.
This is pretty great.
Who's amongst us?
I mean, when you are young, enjoy. Well, however old you are, enjoy your body as you
Right.
like.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have a lovely time. That is a thing that I love.
Just be
so much about
careful.
cons. Yes.
Just be careful.
A thing I love about cons is there is very little body shaming. People just wear what they want. They are feeling themselves, and I love it. And then, yes, like Sharon said, anywhere, especially the really big ones where not everyone is your family and friends. You just have to be careful. But a thing I also love is how much people look out for each other.
Yeah.
So like Sharon, you were amazing at this. I know this was many Liberty Cons ago, but I was talking to somebody in the bar, and Sharon was like, Marisa, you should come over here now. And I was like, okay. And I came over, and she was just like, are you good talking to this person? Are you okay? And I was like, oh, I am. And she's like, okay, great. Gone.
I don't remember that.
Because that's just who you are, right? You just watch out for people.
Yep. Yeah. We do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I love that about cons, is people just like keeping an eye, like, is everyone okay over here? Do they need the cart to go back to their room? What's
right. Do you need a rescue from this conversation? Are you consenting to this conversation?
It's all good.
No. I do remember this one girl that was saying, she was at a con and something untoward happened, and she like went into the restroom or to a public bathroom and was hiding. And I said, why didn't you call con security? Or there's 49 million big hunky guys around here. Why didn't you and she was just like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, you got to advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
Be careful and but there's security at every con. So so, and if you're going to a room party or something, go with a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would be smart, just like you would anywhere else.
Yeah.
A good convention is going to have a good security staff. My head of security is a retired police officer.
Mm-hmm.
He worked at DEA for a while. He did a lot of undercover. I mean, just fabulous and professional, and other professionals like that he's shepherded in. Because you don't need them often, thank goodness. But when you need somebody,
when you do, you do. So
you do.
And you want me to tell you a fun story about your mom?
Oh, it's a great entry to any story.
I got a fun story about your mom.
It was actually more about David, but your mom gets into it. David had gone, we were just married, and for some reason I did not go with him it was one of the Liberty Cons. It was not the first one we ever went to, but it was like maybe the third one, and I didn't go with him. Maybe the kids were here. Maybe that was the first year the kids were here. And so David gets on the road and he drives. You remember how I told you he doesn't travel alone? Mm-hmm. Well, okay. So he had a phone in his car. This was back when not everybody had cell phones, but there were back phones in the car. And he calls me and he says, I'm on 285 right outside of Atlanta. There's been a 18-wheeler that's jackknifed. It's pouring down rain. I've been stuck for like 2 hours. I'm going to be getting late getting to Chattanooga. And I said, okay, call me when you get there. I wait and I wait and I wait and I wait. And midnight comes and goes, and he called me like at 6, and nothing. So about 1 o'clock in the morning, I look up the hotel that it was, the con was at, and I get their phone number, and I call the front desk and I said, is there anybody walking through the lobby there that from the convention? And he says, hang on a minute. And he calls somebody over and they, hello?
Oh.
And it was Linda. And she says, hello? And I said, Linda, this is Sharon. Is my husband around anywhere? Oh, yeah, he's playing spades with him. Yeah. How long has he been there? Oh, about 4 hours.
Oh. Yeah, that checks.
Will you go into the room that they're playing cards and tell him he might want to call his wife? Mm-hmm. And she goes in. David's gonna get beaten.
I can visualize his face, right? Like,
and he says, why? And he says, you didn't call Sharon. And he says, oh, I tried and I couldn't get through. All the lines were busy. So, and he's like throwing his cards up and just standing out.
Oh.
And then when he came back in, Uncle Timmy was, David got a beat. and so at another con, he had his pacemaker surgery. And Toni, you might remember this. And one of the kids was homesick, so I couldn't go with him to the con. And he had a very strict bedtime from the surgeon, and he could not stay up late. So he was in one of the rooms, and one of the LibertyCon people called me from this other con and said he didn't go to bed and called his cell phone. And I said, David, it's 12:30. Are you not in bed yet? And he was like, yeah. I was like, no.
No.
How did you know? And I said, just like with Linda at the LibertyCon, I have eyes everywhere. So now he knows better than to misbehave at a con.
That's funny.
If he and Dad were together, they were probably playing spades.
Oh yeah. Probably. Because they definitely were the day that I called.
Oh, yeah.
So funny.
Shenanigans. I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. You guys, it's already over an hour. I just want to talk about this all night. But people have bedtimes, weirdly. Not at cons.
No.
Most people do
Not
not.
unless
David does, but
David does.
Well,
That's fair.
After major surgeries, you should probably have bedtimes even at cons.
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. I have the bedtime because, I, as the internet knows, I really enjoy going to bed with my husband. So.
Really?
Oh yeah. Every episode, I have to remind the internet how much I like fucking my husband. So.
Yeah. She
does it. People are like, where is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People get disappointed if I don't.
Is there an OnlyFans channel or something?
No, that's all you get to know. Is that
Toni,
it happens and it's enjoyable.
there is only one fan.
Right. Well, two of us.
Married couple.
Me and him. We are fans of each other. Yeah.
But we all know it, so.
But yeah. So you're welcome for that knowledge.
Here we are.
I don't know how the PayPal works that way.
No, it's fine. It's on the house, really. I'm happy to share that information with you.
And on that note, okay.
And if you bring my mom on the channel, I'm gonna have to say it then too.
Oh yeah.
Yes, you do.
As though
And she'll
you
be like,
don't
me
already
too.
talk about this. As though your mom doesn't already talk about that with us.
Yeah, no.
She'll mean her husband. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
right.
For clarity.
Yeah.
For clarity.
Yeah.
here.
To be clear,
Everyone to their respective own grouping as they so choose.
It's not that kind of fandom.
No,
Not here.
We're far
No.
too monogamous for that. Yeah.
You're not here.
Not that there's anything, we're
Nope.
making no judgments here.
You do
Sure.
You do
That's
you.
the-
I am happily, boringly monogamous, but respect all choices between consenting adults. And
right.
on that note, do you have LibertyCon is obviously one of my favorite cons, I would say, of many, if not all of us on this call right here. Are there other cons that if people have the budget and geographic ability to go to that you would recommend? And you can just quadruple down on LibertyCon too. That's perfectly fine.
Dragon Con's a duh. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I recommend everybody try Dragon Con at least once.
at least once.
If you love it, you're going to really love it, and if you don't, then you try it.
You tried it. Yeah.
We already mentioned FanCon and Mid South
Pecan.
Con, and Pecan. Those are all nice.
David and I really like to go to smaller cons because you get to talk to people more. Dragon Con, it's like you see somebody, hi, and they're gone, and you
Never started.
scared the cat. And you never see them again. The whole long weekend, unless you make a concentrated effort
Yeah.
to find them. But at smaller cons, you kind of hang out more that whole weekend. So
There's a list of conventions that our authors and artists and editors go to at Bain.com. And so if you're looking to interact with favorite authors, that's a good place to go and see where they're going to be guests at and who's going to be attending. Where Bubonicon in Albuquerque is another small one.
That's a good one.
That's got Steve Sterling and Jane Linsgold and Will McCarthy are going to be there this year.
And Kacey Morris.
Oh, and Kacey Morris. Yes. Oh my God, Kacey Morris.
That's homecoming.
It's a good fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, Kacey's been doing great stuff with John Ringo in the superhero series. So
that kind of good guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And Brandy, Kacey is that kind of good guy.
He is. He is.
Yes.
Yes.
Brandy, did you have a recommendation too?
I mean, Chattacon just closed the doors.
Yeah.
They were, fabulous winter convention. When Fantasy was in Jewel Running Fantasy, that was a great convention.
It's coming back, by the way, I think.
It's coming back in Virginia next year, so definitely recommend that.
Virginia Beach.
Yes, Jordan Con in Atlanta. It's really well run.
It's so cute.
That's a good fun last year. I enjoy it. I mean, just a ton. I'm always, of course, I love just to see people. I'm obviously a people person, but I will tell you, I love good programming. I mean, I don't get to go to almost any of the LibertyCon programming, so I miss my own convention, right? So I'm always looking for conventions with really good programming. Like that's, I'd love to have another LibertyCon that I wasn't a part of.
Right.
Yeah.
You can just go enjoy.
Yeah.
JordanCon is super fun. I just went the once last year. But the programming was so much fun. Plus I got to hang out with Brandy and Melissa, which was pretty freaking cool. Yeah.
I was going to go this year, but it's the same weekend as my daughter's pilot training graduation. So I will. I had to email them and be like, I'm so sorry. Please let me come back next year instead.
I will be flying solo without my ladies, but it will be fine. I will probably have small children with me, or they're not so small anymore. They're preteens. So
yeah.
They're gonna.
I haven't been to Mid-South in years, but that was a really good convention.
Yeah.
It's moved around a couple times. It's in a new hotel this year. It was one of those I had to check the location. Like, is this okay for me to go to? Because there's some places in most cities that you just don't go to. But it's a nice place. So
this year, Don and I have lost our minds. We're going to go to Con Carolina's. I think it's the weekend before LibertyCon. Why not? We've heard such good things about it. I've been a long time ago, but not lately because it's so close to LibertyCon. But I was like, you know what? Let's just do it.
I love it.
Yeah.
If you are looking for a huge experience, though, the original Comic-Con in San Diego would be. I mean, there's nothing going to beat that, except maybe Dragon at some point. But you gotta have some money and you gotta have some patience on that one. So
yeah, that's a great.
We've been once and not as exhibitors, but it's big.
Nice. Anything else, Kacey or Melissa, that you want to recommend?
I will throw a shout out there for Boscone. It's kind of been our local. I'm speaking for Marisa now with zero authorization to do so. But it's kind of become our local con since we set up camp here in New England. And it's been really fun the last couple of years. It's very old school fandom, and the panels one of the things that I thought was interesting is, Brandy, you mentioned really good quality programming. The programming is really intellectual. Which is really fun, but also sometimes I'm like, wow, yeah, that's deep.
Okay.
Counterpoint, I was supposed to go to Bosco before my husband couldn't manage to work his schedule because craziness right now. But one of the panels I was going to be on was about K-pop demon hunters and phenomenon that has driven. I'm like, yes, I can talk about this.
Right? Yeah, not stuffy, just
but fun, right?
But fun, yeah.
Ben Yellow, which is always a win. Yeah.
We haven't been to BossCon in decades. I mean,
What is winter?
Maybe they would invite us at some point.
Oh, they should.
Yeah.
Just
More Webbers in New England? I like it. I like
Oh,
it.
that'd be fun.
Yes.
seriously, we went up there. The kids went with us on the train, and that was a fun.
Oh,
That's fun.
Yeah, that was a good trip.
Yeah.
Good time.
we should start plotting for the future. I like this plan.
Yay.
Speaking of the future, 2027, 2 things to recommend. One, Brandy mentioned the Fantasy. So it won't be Fantasy, but if you go look up the Fantasy Literary Society, they're having a naming contest for their new con, which will be April of 27. I will be their inaugural mistress of ceremony. So you should come.
I believe David and I will be there as well. So.
I heard a rumor. It's not my announcement to make, but happy to confirm.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm very excited. And then speaking of the Webbers, I'm not sure if you guys are going, but I know WindyCon in 2027 is also having a MantaCon.
We have been. They've been talking to us about that. We haven't confirmed it yet, but I think we are more than likely going to go to that.
We've heard rumors. They're rumors.
Yeah.
Rumors.
Rumors.
I haven't. Like I said, we haven't confirmed that yet, but I think.
But if you love Honor Harrington, and who doesn't, 2027 WindyCon will also have a MantaCon, which will be very much focused on the Honorverse, which is very
Absolutely.
cool. So hopefully the Webbers will be there if we're all very lucky. So that'll be great. But yeah, check out your local cons. Check out these fun cons. There's also a list. Doesn't Southern Fandom have like a list they keep of Southern cons? I feel like there is one.
They used
Probably.
to.
Yeah. And they may again. They've got a more active president again. So.
Oh, nice. So yeah, Google. Find it on the internet streets. Maybe don't Google. I don't know how we find things on the internet streets anymore, but good luck. Stalk your favorite authors' websites or their publishers and see where they're going, and go there consensually and respectfully to see your favorites in real life. And maybe talk to them long enough that they let you write books in their universe. I don't know. It could happen.
It has happened.
It's happened to Marisa, so
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. This was so much fun. I feel like this could be a 2-hour episode without like.
Thank you for having us. So.
Yes, very much.
Please come back. Please come back anytime. I will say it subliminally. So we will have links in the show notes. If you have enjoyed watching the show, which if you were here an hour and 21 minutes in, I assume you had a good time, go ahead and click the little thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel. We do shenanigans several times a month. You could join us.
That's right.
We'll talk about cons all the time because we love them. Introvert, extrovert, you can have fun at a con.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell your friends to subscribe too.
Yeah.
Oh, but only if they're cool people, right? Like, don't tell your douchebag friends. Just tell your cool friends. Come subscribe to our channel and hang out with us.
The good inclusive nerds, not the crappy bounce off fandom nerds. We don't want those.
That's
ones.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Are you awesome? Come hang out with us.
Yes. Yes. That's the only criteria. You must be awesome.
Easy peasy. All right. Lovely ladies. Anything else you would like to add before I hit this button 17 times?
Thank you for having us on here.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you all.
Yes.
You're so great. And end it.